What's good, everybody? It's your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved, coming to you with another classic. And we're back on the XxTentacion. No, it's not over, even though it should be. There's a couple things that I may need y'all to clarify, and it was brought to my attention by a commenter. I'm not going to bring their name up because I don't know if that's what they wanted, but I looked into something that we were talking about. Now, what we were discussing is that they made a comment like, hey, the suspects' profiles aren't showing up in the prison. They're not showing up in the jail system where I'm able to see it and see exactly what they're being charged with and stuff. I agree. Why can I not find a profile in the system down there in Broward County with these suspects? Now, maybe I'm searching something wrong. I know the names are titled right. Maybe someone could say, look, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, which I'll agree. But there was something else I looked at that I didn't know. About a week later to 2 weeks after Tentacion's funeral, his niece died. Now, what they're saying is she drowned. Okay. So, she couldn't swim. Why was she at the pool unsupervised? Things aren't really looking good. And then, you know, because all these unbiased things were happening. I was like, okay, stay objective, stay objective. I looked at something else, and I'm like, wait. So the mother became the sole owner of all of his royalties. Have we ever seen this occur for someone? Someone's pulled over here. I didn't see them get pulled over, so I can't say what they did, but unless it was a traffic violation of some sort, I don't see why they'd be stopped. But again, it's in the middle of the road, which I've said several times that that's illegal. That shouldn't be allowed. An officer shouldn't be allowed to be stopping in the middle of the road with people. And if I see that again, I might have to drop your number on this thing, pal. Don't stop in the middle of the road. Pull them off to the side. That causes issue for accidents on a narrow road, but you don't really care. You just want to see what you can get money out of, right? But moving forward, I was like, have we ever seen someone's parents get their royalties? I've never seen it. Tupac, never happened. Biggie's mother, it really never happened. She had an issue in a fight with Puff Daddy just to try and get the records and stuff. How did she get a hold of all his royalties and all the money? I've never seen that occur. You know, and objectively, this is something that other mothers should know of superstars in the game, just in case something would happen. How they can get a hold of it to be able to finance the funerals, to be able to finance just different things and bills they got to cover because their son's no longer there. How'd you do that? And then the niece allegedly drowned. Like, what are y'all doing? What's going on with that family? You know, now, is this niece through an uncle, through an aunt? Like, what is this? What's going on? Let alone the alleged cousin or uncle was never publicly questioned. Video wasn't released, and they didn't even release the name of the other individual in the car with them. This is starting to look shaky, baby. This is looking shaky. I'm going to say this. All those will face judgment for these type of things, you know? And a lot of it's just not making sense. So I get Tentacion was in a setup. What happened to the niece? How did she go to a pool and say she wasn't able to swim? Who would leave her unsupervised? And that was very quiet. To be real, I never thought I'd say this, but shout out to the media on July 13th by Dom is Live. That's where I actually seen it. I always give credit objectively to anyone else who I've seen stuff from or I've got information. I have no problem doing that. Even a commenter, if they get me and lead me to different things to look at and to think about. What's going on? How'd she do that? I was sitting there thinking, like, so you're telling me right after he died, they had lawyers on deck for her to get that? Because usually record labels aren't looking to give up all that monetary value willingly. Most record labels collect it. How did she beat the odds? How'd she surpass the norm and gain all the financial gratification of everything her son did. One thing I want to lead to is that people may not notice about Tentacion. I wasn't going to talk about it earlier, but I'm going to run you through my thinking so that you guys can understand it. Like I said, there's a lot I don't mention and talk about with you guys because the limitations, just overall, I'm not trying to break to some conspiracy theorist or something like that. It's just questions I ask myself. And I sit there and I think to myself, like, wait, yeah, how'd they do that? Now, one thing I do know without a shadow of a doubt, Tentacion's, when he talked about growing up, a main issue he spoke of was basically looking for the attention of his mother. So he either, A, she wasn't around that much as he claimed, B, they didn't get along too well when he was younger, or C, he would act bad and stuff. But, and again, for anyone that doubts it, I could go and pull up the interview, and if I get the permission of that YouTuber, I'll repost the interview I watched. He said this, and not quote verbatim, but in a sense, he asked his mom about how to deal with someone picking with him, and she gave him the permission to defend himself. And that's when he began fighting back physically. And from that point on, it seems like he started fighting in every situation. And the interviewer mentioned about him getting his mother's attention with it. And he even said, yeah, maybe that was what it was. You know, he kind of put it out there that he didn't put that down about longing for his mother's attention to even do some of the stuff he did. Now, this has me puzzled because I've never seen a mother get a hold of someone's royalties, which is millions. It came out after we talked about what he brought for them before his death. He signed a $10 million deal. Okay. With whom and how would they give the remainder of that money to her to spend if she's not a musician to recuperate their finances and costs? I just started looking at all these things and they're really not making sense, let alone the niece drowning a few weeks after. If it's alleged she couldn't swim, where was the supervision? What, she was at a pool all alone? I'm really starting to get things that are leading to a darker side of the industry, as has been presumed and made an assumption by many different parties. What is her affiliation with this situation? You know, I really didn't hear about his mother being involved too much until he started getting fame and acclaim. Now, where is the motherly figure when all of these things are going on with her son, her niece? I'm not really seeing a correlation. I'm not seeing how they are allowing this stuff to happen. Now, don't get me wrong, kids try and do many things, but a parent that knows their child can't swim wouldn't leave them unsupervised at a pool. That just doesn't make sense. That's why I asked, was it an uncle or an aunt? Were they drunk? Were they allegedly otherwise to allow this to happen to her? These things aren't making sense. They aren't adding up. Let alone, I just want to know how she did it. This is very important. Like I said, there are other families that wanted royalties, not even royalties, some of the checks from their superstar son or daughter and couldn't get it. How'd she do this? Why is there so much attention around her receiving this money? How did the record label relinquish the finances? Is the record label just very nice? I mean, being that he just signed it before he left this earth and then he spent it, how did he get the full 10 million cash up front? I've never heard of an artist signing a deal and getting every dime up front. That makes no sense. If he allegedly spent, let's say, and I know it's a little more than that for each house, but let's say he spent $1 million, 4 houses each house. How do you spend $4 million of that? And let's say he did get $4 million cash. I've never heard of any artist getting that up front. Not even a Jay-Z, not a Nas, no one who was really doing it. Not a Drake. I didn't hear a Drake. They usually get show money. And then they have to give some of that to the record label. And when you sign a deal up front, the only person sensibly I could have seen getting the full cash up front that they signed for may be Drake at this time, because he's what's hot out here. But no other artist should have been in a position to do that. $10 million is a lot of money. To get that all up front, you had to have multiple platinum records and show that you can recuperate this company's money. How did he do that without showing that? In the comments below, let me know what you think. Also, where are these suspects' profile? I don't see them in prison or even on a conviction. I don't even see that they're existing in that system. Can someone lead me or show me? Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. All rights reserved.